first Lumix Ultra Zoom lens. This is brand new Lumix 100-500mm f5 to f7.5 OIS lens. Very interesting specialist tool for wildlife, sports or even street photography. I say specialist because it is not an everyday lens. It's not always easy to use, but it is standard high quality Lumix. You get outstanding results shooting with it when you do it right and you do it under the right lighting conditions. In this video, I will talk about its performance. I'll show you lots of samples shot with it. I'll talk about its build, price, and who a lens like this is for. So stay with me to the end to find out if this lens is the right lens choice for you. Performance. Sharp? Yes, of course it is sharp. This is a modern lens delivering modern results. Quality-wise, generally speaking, it is very hard to fault it. You get what you expect from Lumix here. Punchy colors, great contrast, but it is very often a lens that can be a little bit hard to use. For a lens that is meant for wildlife and sports, both could be fast moving, the minimum aperture of f5 at 100mm wide end to f7.1 when you zoom in all the way to 500mm, it means that you need a lot of light to make it work well. For fast moving subjects, you do need faster shutter speeds to freeze motion. That's not a problem on a very bright sunny day, but as soon as the sun goes behind the cloud, you have to compensate by cranking the camera settings up. Not ideal, but we are talking about Lumix lens made for current Lumix cameras. Firstly, the high ISO performance of cameras like S1II or S1II allows you to shoot clean looking images with ISO 4000 or ISO 5000 and lets you set higher shutter speeds to freeze motion. Also, the optical image stabilization with this lens, you do get dual IS. It means that the lens stabilization works together with camera's sensor stabilization, letting you to shoot handheld with slower shutter speeds. Great for static or less moving subjects for sure. I have been shooting with it a lot on S1RII, a camera that doesn't like very high ISO settings due to the higher resolution sensor. You get more digital noise, but on a sunny day, setting camera to ISO 1000 allowed me to freely shoot at all focal lengths throughout the zoom without worrying about it. I think this is a great lens focal length for street photography. It allows you to capture candid moments, people, without being in their face and them being less aware that they are being photographed. The same comes to photographing wildlife. 500mm allows you to be far enough far away to be less a threat to animal you are taking a picture of. You can use Lumix 1.4 times and 2 times teleconverter adapters with this lens. Easy solution to expand your zoom range, but at the cost of minimum aperture settings. With 1.4 times adapter, minimum aperture is f10 when fully zoomed in, and with 2 time adapter, f14. Not a huge problem shooting in the bright summer sun, but hugely crippling even on an overcast day. Autofocus performance is really good, no issues to complain about, snappy, accurate, and totally silent. What's really cool with this lens is the minimum focusing distance, 80 cm at 100mm at wide end and 1.5 meter fully zoomed in to 500mm. Not micro lens results, but by any means, but close enough for you to get superb looking close-ups. This also brings more zoom compression in and more subject to background separation, even at f7.1 minimum aperture at 500mm. Overall, when used right and for the right purpose and in the right lighting conditions, this lens delivers outstanding results. This dual stabilization really works when filming with this lens. It is actually possible to get very steady handheld shots even at 500mm. Also using hybrid zoom function on a cameras like S1RII, you get 100 to 1049mm range in 4K 24p without any loss of quality. Hybrid zoom does not crop in but uses oversampling from full sensor width and height recording. This makes this lens a true telephoto beast when you need that extra reach when filming sports or wildlife with it. On all 24 million pixel cameras like S1II and S1II, you get 100 to 781mm range. Very impressive. Built lens with this focal length has to be large, but Lumix kept it pretty small for what it is. It's a big lens, but not overly huge. Good looking zoom lens. It has got standard bunch of switches on it. Focus limiter, AF/MF, autofocus, manual focus switch, optical stabilization with 2 standard modes, a general one and one for panning. On the other side of the lens, there is a zoom limiter. It limits the range to 150 to 500 millimeter. I really don't understand why would anyone need to limit the zoom. There's also this smooth, tight ring. This meant to reduce the stiffness of the zoom ring or tighten it, but it makes very little difference when changed. Maybe it is just not working as it should on this particular lens, but again, another gimmicky ring which doesn't really add anything to the lens. Lens extends as expected quite a bit when zooming in. I have large hands, and to hold the camera well in my hand and support the weight of this lens when zooming in, I found that this part here digs into my finger, making it very uncomfortable in the long run. The lens weighs 1,285 grams. It's heavy, something to get used to if you need to shoot with a zoom like this with this lens for longer periods of time. The focus ring is really nicely dampened and smooth. It can also be programmed to do other functions via the camera, like change the aperture or ISO. Filter thread of 82mm, adjustable and removable tripod collar, and the lens is weather sealed. Price and who is this lens for? It is not a cheap lens by any means. It costs £1,799 here in UK or $2,098 in US. This price makes it less accessible and more a specialist tool for a pro photographers or filmmakers. You need to know why you need a lens like this before parting with this kind of money for it. Very good zoom range, very good optical quality, but right now it has got a very stiff competition from Sigma in form of 150 to 600mm f5 to f6.3 and 60 to 600mm f4.5 to f6.3. Both bigger and heavier than this, and Sigma extenders do not work on Lumix cameras, as far as I know they don't. This is a lens not only for a Lumix die-hard fan, but also for someone who needs the smallest and lightest ultra zoom possible. And the size of it, that's the price for smaller than usual standard apertures here. If the light is right and you can push the camera safely to its limits, a pretty good lens for wildlife sports and street photography. The price is high, maybe a touch too high, but quite possible that there will be a lot of discounts on it in the future. Lumix like to run promotional discounts very often, so you have to shop around, not a spur of the moment purchase. Conclusion, this is a pretty cool zoom lens. I certainly had a good time shooting with it. Positive experience apart from my finger getting constantly sore, but overall this is a standard high quality Lumix lens. You know what you are getting here. The problem is the price. Very expensive lens with Sigma 150 to 600mm is £500 or $500 cheaper, and apart from being bigger, a brighter lens than this. This is a specialist tool for someone who wants and needs that Lumix dual stabilization, someone who will make the Lumix extenders work with it, and maybe for someone so loyal to this brand that the price simply won't matter. No matter how you look at it, it is a very good lens capable of really great results. I do recommend it, but do your research first and watch out for any discounts when you decide to go for it. And this is it from me. Let me know what you think about it in the comments below. If this video was in any way helpful or informative to you, give me the thumbs up and subscribe if you want to. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you in the next one. See ya.